Hello there. Welcome to an even-numbered episode. So, we're done with that little clock program now. And instead, we are going to look at something else, something quite different. And that is Ping and Pong. Now that's two programs, but they actually work together. So, Ping. Very simple little thing, isn't it? Now watch what happens when I run Pong. So what is going on here? This is not one program with two windows. I mean, that would be easy. This is two separate programs. There's Ping and there's Pong. They're running in separate instances of Yab. Now there's nothing really linking them, except that it shows how you can send messages between two programs. Now in this set, Ping is the one that does all the work really. Okay, here we got some comments. Open a window and you've got some starting positions, and here is your main loop. And most of this involves calculating where the little dot should appear next, and then just flushing the view and drawing another little dot. And this happens fast enough that to the naked eye it looks like the dot is moving smoothly. If I close Pong down, then it only bounces off its own walls. So what's happening? Well, here, this line. Let's make that a little larger so you can see it. This line here. It sends a message to Pong, right? If X is larger than 190. In other words, if it hits this wall, then it sends a message to Pong. But at the moment, Pong is not running. And so the return message is 0. Like, it was not delivered. And then it says, okay, therefore we start bouncing back. We turn the step value into a negative. How does it know when Pong is running? Well, remember I told you that, let's just keep that. Let's stack and tile them together. Oops. That's not what I had in mind. close that again. There we go. You remember when I told you that if on the first line there's a hashtag and an exclamation mark, that means it's a script and it should be run with whatever interpreter follows. YAB in this case. Now, here any other hashtag is a comment. Well, there is an exception to that. And that is that if it's on the first or the second line, you can specify a MIME type, or as the documentation calls it, a signature. And normally you only get a signature when you compile a program in the build factory, but you can actually set it when you're running it as a script. It doesn't mean that it's going to appear directly in the desk bar. It's still under a YAB subheading, but it does mean that Ping can now find Pong. So what happens if we play another Pong? Nothing. Right, because the first instance takes priority here. So what message does it send to Pong? It sends the coordinates where Pong then draws a little circle and takes over. Right, and so all Pong does is flush the view and draw another circle. And then Ping sends another message and say, and now put it a little bit further, and a little bit down, or a little bit up. And Pong flushes the view and draws another circle. So Pong here doesn't really do very much. Right? All the hard work is being done by Ping. Now, you might not think this is very significant, but think about it. We've got two unrelated programs, but one of those two knows about what the program is, what it can do, and it sends messages to that program. And the second program responds to that message. So, think about it. You could write a fairly bare bones text editor which has an ID. Right? It has that MIME type. And then you can write all sorts of separate little floating toolbars or palettes that do nothing else but send messages to that text editor. So you could have one palette just for sending markdown commands. You can have another palette for sending HTML structures, or another one that changes colors, and whatever you get sent to the text editor without having to clutter up the editor's own structure with lots of different toolbars and lots of different menus. The editor's just bare bone. So you say, okay, but I don't want floating toolbars, or floating palettes all over my screen. It's messy. Can't we just combine them into one program? Yes, we can, because we have stack and tile. Yeah, and when you think of a new use for your text editor, all you have to do is write in a separate program a new palette. I mean, that is so exciting. I should start writing straight away. Okay, so that is how Yab makes use of Haiku's ability to send messages from one program to another. Now you'll notice that here, ping doesn't have a MIME type command here because it doesn't need it. Pong never sends anything back. It just reacts to what ping tells it to do. So, you can put one in if you like, but and this looks like what in the C or C++ world would be called a preprocessor directive. And there's no actual preprocessor that I'm aware of. It just has taken on this form, which will look fairly familiar. And it's a bit hidden in the documentation, but you can find it here under message send. It is this bit here. And you can see that here they use the double slashes kind of comment. And here it uses the hashtag type of comment. So that doesn't really matter. It is the one case that I'm aware of so far in which something after a comment actually gets used and acted upon. If I find more, I'll let you know. Okay, so that's it. I am not going to change this and spend another 3 episodes playing around with it. I just wanted to show you just how elegantly this works, because all you do is write 2 small programs and make them talk to each other via the operating system. And believe me, in a regular basic dialect, that would be sheer hell. What you'd have to do is you'd have to write those positions to either a file or to environment variables, and then your receiving program would have to constantly shell out to open that file or to read those environment variables. Here, under Haiku, the easiest thing in the world. Okay, slight exaggeration. I mean, this thing here has to be fairly precise. But yeah, we actually have a way of doing it. Thanks for watching. See you next week.